or have you changed that a little bit?
Yeah, I don't think it would work. I mean, it would work, yes. I have gone to classes with people, and it's a motivation for me
Mm-hmm.
to continue going if I know that someone's going and I'm enjoying that part, but I like to be by myself too. So sometimes working out by myself it's more of a, I like to work out at night. It's sort of meditative. I can think about the day.
Okay. How would you feel about, because I hear on one side that the social aspect is a motivator, but on the other end I hear that you kind of like to be alone to do it too. So if I'm just calculating my brain a plan, would a hybrid type of, do you have a preference one or the other, or would a hybrid situation work better for you?
It kind of depends on where I am in my motivation, my self-motivation. If I'm really
Okay.
self-motivated at the time, working out by myself is fantastic. If I'm not, having someone, not necessarily push me, but
Okay.
I'm accountable to somebody else.
Okay. On a scale from 1 to 10 then, 1 being I have zero self-motivation whatsoever. You're going to have to come get a crane and pick me out of the house and light a fire under your, to have you exercise. Because I have no self-motivation, you're going to have to motivate me. Versus a 10, whereas like I am ready to go as soon as you give me the red flag, no, the green flag. I am ready to go. I'm good. I want to exercise on my own. I'm good. Let me go. Where are you on that scale?
Right now.
2. A 2. So a 2 is telling me, but correct me if I'm wrong, that a 2 is telling me that maybe having you do some kind of social or group exercise, or trainer type, having someone holding you accountable, like you said, may be the best thing for you right now.
Probably, yes.
And then as you move along, it sounds like from your history that once you get into your exercise, you can keep it up, but also go about it on your own.
Oh yes,
you
definitely.
can move towards the
Once
10.
I get to this point, there's this like wall. Once I reach it,
Okay.
and I reach it, then it's part of my daily routine. And
okay, tell me a little bit about then. So in college you do that. Then what happened? I mean, then where did you go with exercise, activity, etc.? If you could sum it up a little bit.
Full-time job came and exercise it stopped.
Okay.
Gosh, for a long time, exercise stopped. And then, even after I had my son, before that, exercise had stopped.
Okay.
I started working out again 7 years ago, maybe.
Okay.
Lost some weight.
So you were successful. And so therefore you know that exercise seems to work for you, right? Okay, good. That's great. So you've experienced that, and you were able to do it. You were able to stick with the program, and were able to be successful. That's fantastic. So what I hear is that you kind of fluctuate.
Oh, definitely.
On,
definitely.
Okay. And when you don't exercise, when you're on a low spin of exercise, is there anything that's causing that to happen more than the times when you're in an upswing? What is that dynamic like?
Well, recently it's because of anxiety.
Okay.
I had an episode about a year ago during a time of heavy exercise or reasonable exercise, where I was having panic attacks all the time. And so I have that fear in my head that will happen every time I exercise.
Okay, that's interesting. I want to come back to that. But you were fluctuating in and out. Before that panic or that anxiety, that you seem to point right to. I mean, you say, that is the reason why I stopped exercising, blah, 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 years ago. The times before that you stopped exercising, though, What was that about?
Probably because I reached a point where, honestly, I reached a point where people might have noticed weight loss. I was getting attention for it. Not attention, but just recognition or whatever. And I thought, okay, well, good. I've not consciously thought, good, I've reached my goal.
Yeah.
But I reached what I needed. In particular, my mother. But
Okay. So we have mom issues.
oh, yes.
Okay. So, I forgot the question I wanted to ask you, but I'm gonna think about it, and I'm gonna come back to it. So we were talking about you. I just forgot. I completely went blank with what I wanted to ask you. That you reached a certain goal, and that you started getting attention. And I just wanted to say and let you know that I see that all the time in my patients, that they reach a certain goal or they reach a certain weight, and after they do that, they kind of drift from that goal because they've done it. And so I want you to know that that's completely normal. That's not anything weird. People do that. But along the lines, is it still a constant theme about a lot of things depend on what other people think? Or
Oh, yes.
the self-esteem
Oh,
issue,
completely, 100%.
so on and so forth. Okay, so now with the anxiety issue that you had with the last exercise, really upswing, you had good intentions of exercising, and then this awful thing happened to you. What happened? Did you do anything medically for that? Did you get that checked out? Did you go to your physicians, about that? Or
Yes, I did.
okay, tell me a little bit about what they found out,
They
or what they did.
Okay, what they did, they gave me a Holter monitor for 24 hours.
They did. Okay, good.
They gave me, because that didn't ease my mind, I guess. They gave me an event monitor for 2 weeks.
Did that type of monitoring give you more anxiety, or did that feel...
No, that type of monitoring didn't, because I couldn't see what was going on.
You said that kind of monitoring didn't. What does that mean? Was there another kind of monitoring that does?
Well, I was wearing a Fitbit at the time that I started having panic attacks, and heart rate going up and looking funny on a chart sort of made me anxious, and I may have overanalyzed
Okay.
heart rate compared to what I was feeling at the time, and I was convinced I was dying.
So you may be in your head a lot.
Oh, I'm in my head all the time.
Okay. All right. So you had a heart monitor, you had a event monitor, and anything
Normal.
exciting?
Benign PACs and PVCs.
Okay. So they confirmed that perhaps this wasn't anything, or how did they explain this attack or this anxiety?
They confirmed, because while I had the event monitor, I had similar attacks, similar feeling, everything was the same, push the button, don't know what's going on, but when they confirmed what, I had to keep a journal.
Oh, you did?
Yes. So they confirmed that when I was feeling heart palpitations, they indeed were heart palpitations.
Oh, okay.
They were
Well,
just
that must
benign
make you feel
PAC
good.
and PVCs. But when I was having, I can't remember what I journaled it as, but when I was having these events, that I was absolutely nothing going on with my heart.
Okay. How did that make you feel?
At the time, very good.
Okay, so maybe some of that I don't want to put words in your mouth. So what did that do to the fear of, were you able to go back out and say, okay, I'm going to start now, or what was the result for you on those results? Like, did you feel more motivated to exercise?
No.
Or okay, tell me, what's that all about? That you didn't
That is, I am still convinced that exercise is going to kill me.
to kill you? Because
Oh God, this is
what
so
about?
much, I'm sorry.
What do you mean by kill
I'm
you?
being honest.
No, and I appreciate that. So, what does that mean? Kill you? What does that call? Because sometimes is that like it's going to be painful, or is it literally?
No, I'm literally going to die from my heart attack.
Okay.
After exercising.
Okay. So that's pretty major, though. That's a pretty major block here.
Yes.
That we need to work on. Would you like to work on that? Is that something?
Yes.
Okay.
I do not want to feel like this. This is irrational feeling.
Well, I don't know if it's irrational. I can understand if you've had that experience and your heart's racing during exercise, that you're like, oh my God, I'm going to die. I get that. So I don't want you to think that it's irrational. It seems pretty normal to me if you have that in your head. So let's skip to right now then. What are you currently doing? What does your exercise look like now?
My exercise is pretty non-existent right now. I have twice, and I have plans tomorrow to walk with a friend,
Oh, good.
a coworker.
Okay. And that works out well?
That works out well.
Good. And do you have that fear when you're walking with a coworker or a friend, or what happens?
Yes, well, yes, but I just keep going and figure that if I'm going to have a heart attack, I'll...
I feel like there's perhaps more to this. So can you do you mind, or is it okay that you expand on? I asked you to expand on that feeling because I can sense that you're like, oh.
Yes, like in particular, like what...
When you're walking
When
with your
it-
coworker and you
walking-
say you kind of are fearful, but you're kind of walking through
Yeah,
it.
well, what happened last Friday was I was walking on the treadmill at a reasonable pace. I walked for 45 minutes probably.
Is this by yourself, or is this?
No,
with
she
your-
was
Okay.
with me on the treadmill
Okay.
next to me.
You
And
guys share a treadmill.
we share a treadmill.
Okay.
We do.
Okay. It's
We walk at two different speeds, unfortunately.
that might be the reason you are so fearful.
Yes, because she has a little longer leg, and she's the tiny little thing.
Okay. So tell me about that then.
Anyway, and when I stopped exercising, I was very dizzy, and that led to... I stopped immediately. I just hit the stop button, going from, 3.7, 3.8 miles per hour.
Did you stop the treadmill immediately because you didn't feel well, or
No,
did you
I
stop
stopped
the
it
treadmill
because I was
it was done? Okay. And then you felt dizzy.
And then I felt dizzy.
What do you attribute that to?
Well, I attributed it to the time that I was dying.
Okay. Do you?
But I
so-
went and stretched, and I was fine.
Okay. So do you think something physically is happening that caused the dizziness, or do you think this is part of the anxiety reaction?
I think it's probably a combination. I don't know. I've been told there's absolutely nothing physically wrong with me, so...
Let me go back then. Was dizziness one of your complaints before that the medical professions looked at, or is dizziness a new complaint?
No,
'Cause that would
dizziness, and that's part of it. That was...
Because I do have medical clearance for you. I just want to make sure that your doctor's aware of the dizziness.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure, because then we would want to send you back if the doctor's not aware of that. But it sounds like he's good. Okay. We're coming up towards the end of our appointment, but I think that this is going to be fantastic. I mean, are you ready to do this? Are you ready to?
Sure.
Okay. Oh, that doesn't sound.
Yes, yes.
Very ready. I know you're a 2 on your motivation scale, so I know that I do know that you and I have some work to do. But before you go, I wanted to kind of spend the last couple minutes just talking a little bit, so I can get a little bit more insight on how your depression slips into all this. Is it more the anxiety that is the issue with your exercise adherence? Or does depression come into it at all? Or how are you doing with your depression? Do you feel like you have that?
That I think I have under control.
Okay.
I mean, I have moments of unexplained sadness, but
Okay.
not... It does not affect my day-to-day, or... I think it's entirely anxiety-related. I don't think depression plays a role in my exercise, or non-exercise.
That might be something that we talk about next time, if you're comfortable doing that. And because maybe that plays a role, but what I hear throughout your talk is that it's really anxiety, but there is this separate issue of self-esteem that you get to a certain point and you talk yourself out of things, perhaps. And so I think we want to address that also before we can really,